as far as this transfer goes and the right back position, it's nice to know we have more depth, we have more coverage. It's creating competition for spaces, and I feel like now going into the season we're covered.
So welcome back to BCFC Royal Blue, and once again we have another podcast where we're introducing a new player to Birmingham City. Bright Osayi-Samuel has now joined the club in what has turned out to be quite an interesting few weeks in terms of when he was first muted to be of an interest to Birmingham City. He comes in as a right back, and in this podcast, as always, myself and Matt will have a look at him, his attributes, and discuss where we think and how he could contribute to the team. So initial thoughts, Matt, on Bright Osayi-Samuel?
But it's funny you say right back, Dad, because from the research I've been looking at and from the way he plays, again, it's a bit like that Laird element. He has that right wing, right forward kind of.
He's clearly competition for Laird.
Yeah, but he's got that element to his game where he stays quite high up.
Yeah.
But I think he's a bit more of a right wing back in this modern football system. You know, when teams play three at the back and then play wing backs.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of been his very dominant role of recent times. But yeah, we need to get it out of the way early doors, Dad. Let's just talk about it. Let's just get it over with. Let's move on with it. But that goal he scored against us when he played for QPR absolutely took it down the right hand side. I mean, when I look back at it, it was really bad defending on our behalf. We just let him run down the entire right side and cut in and scored. But take nothing away from him in that regard. It was a great goal. And that was the first time he ever caught my attention, because I was thinking, who on earth is that? He went up there like a rocket ship.
Yeah.
And as I said, he kind of reminds me of Laird in terms of pace, athleticism, aggression, kind of gets up quite high. And definitely brought in for competition for Laird, Dad, but a very good signing nonetheless.
Yeah, and I think that Laird last season, he was injured a few times, and we had a few people playing in that right back position. We had Taylor Gardner-Hickman, Alphonse Samsted. I wonder what this means for him, Alphonse Samsted, because clearly, I know Alphonse Samsted can play in other positions as well. He's a bit of a versatile player that can move around. But this is another sort of way of giving more depth to the squad to provide quality. And I think this is real competition for Ethan Laird as well, because when we talk about his attributes, he has got a lot of positive attributes that are going to be absolutely perfect for the way Chris Davies likes to play. Absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
He's 27 years old as well. I mean, interestingly, Matt, the way this came about, apparently, I mean, his contract was up at Fenerbahçe and he was about to join
Besiktas.
Yeah, Besiktas in Turkey. Apparently, it was all done, and whatever reason, it pulled out at the last minute.
Yeah,
could be agents, could be.
It wouldn't surprise me. Agents do my head in.
I don't know if that's the case, but
no.
But I really think he was almost like the Besiktas fans were actually sort of on social media almost thinking he was definitely coming, and a little bit like David Brooks at West Brom. And we thought he was going there and he didn't.
Apparently, he had his medical.
Yes, I know.
But you just don't know, do you? Until you actually see them at your club with the photo and it's official. Don't believe anything.
Yeah, and he obviously we'll see his stats in a minute when he was at Fenerbahçe, and he's clearly a player that would have a lot of suitors. But his playing style, like you mentioned, blistering pace. I mean, he's really, quick. Really pacey, really fast, and like you mentioned, his goal. In fact, actually, that goal you mentioned, I remember it as well. It just literally gives all his attributes in one nice little move, doesn't it?
It does actually.
Pace, dribbling, ability. He's got a good shot on him as well. But like you mentioned, Matt, he's going to be exactly like Ethan Laird. He'll be expected to play high up the pitch, and we'll see his heat map in a minute, and that demonstrates that he does that a lot. He spends a lot of time in the opposition half.
Does, yeah.
So he's a very, very attacking player.
It depends on how we set up, Dad, but either Neumann or Clara then always comes round to the right, don't we? If we get caught on the counter or we get caught out of possession. We saw it a few times this season when Laird was high up. It was Clara that was swinging round to cover the right, didn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, just as a note, that did make us vulnerable sometimes during last season. I remember Wickham away, we got caught out down that right-hand side. There's a couple of teams that nearly caught us out.
Mansfield away, definitely. Stockport as well. They sort of battered us in the second half of their game. But that's just a natural part of being an attacking team. You are going to get caught out.
Of course you are. No, it's not a negative, Dad. I'm just making a point in that he's so similar to Laird. We're going to have the same issue or the same areas of that defensive element where Clara or Neumann or whoever's going to have to come over and cover that right in those moments. And we all know that the Championship is a lot faster pace, it's a lot higher quality.
He's perfect. He's perfect.
He's perfect.
I'll tell you why he's perfect as well. From what I've seen as well, he's aggressive as well.
Yes, yeah.
He's aggressive, and he picks up a lot of yellow cards, so he's going to be vulnerable to getting sent off. And I read about because I was a bit concerned about his discipline, because I read somewhere that there was an incident that happened last season in Turkey. I think it was they were playing Trabzonspor or something like that, and one of their fans ran onto the pitch.
I saw this. Yeah, I saw a picture of it.
I saw a picture with him pinning him down.
Yeah.
But and anyway, everyone thought he was going to get a massive ban, but in the end, he was found to be just defending himself. Yeah. So it was all found to be.
Well, he'll fit in well at Birmingham, won't he?
Yeah, but I like. No, don't get me wrong. I don't want violent players, but I like physical players that can look after themselves.
Like Clara.
Yeah,
he's putting people over the hoardings and stuff in a competitive way. You want that kind of player, and he looks like he's going to get stuck in. And don't underestimate Laird's defensive capabilities as well. He gets stuck in quite well as well. I think genuinely, Dad, this is going to be a really good, healthy rivalry.
This is going to make Ethan Laird even better player.
I agree.
Ethan Laird last season, in my opinion, particularly after Christmas, Phenomenal. He was immense. He stepped up like we couldn't believe. Because we've always said, we were saying in post-match podcasts about how good he was, but his end product wasn't very good. Mm-hmm. He needs to do more. That changed after Christmas.
He did, yeah.
In the new year.
He was phenomenal.
So he's a good player. Anyway, I love Ethan Laird.
Same.
I think this player coming in here, this Bright, he will really brighten him up because Laird now suddenly has got a competition, Ethan Laird, and he knows that if he wants to keep his shirt now, he's got to be better than this player, and like vice versa, the player's got to be better than him.
Yeah.
Because I don't see a team that could have both of these two players in it. No. In my opinion.
No, agreed.
I mean, you could possibly say maybe experiment with one of them on the left, but we don't need to with the players we've got.
This now provides the right exactly the same as the left. The left back will be Cochrane or Buchanan, but it's a healthy battle for that position. At the right, we now have Laird or Bright. I'm going to follow your bandwagon and say Bright. So we now have really good, healthy competition. We have depth, and we have I think consistency, because they're so similar. When Chris Davies comes to on the training pitch doing his style of football, because we have a like-for-like player, really, I think that helps us out massively, and it pushes them both to help their game as well. So,
yeah, and through a season, Matt, we saw it last season, you're going to get injuries and suspensions, and what you don't want to do...
And Laird as well, he's injury prone.
And yes, he is, isn't he, as well? And like last season, I remember a few times we were thinking, oh, no, I hope that player, like Allsop, please don't get injured. He injured his foot against Wickham, didn't he? And we were thinking, he's going to be out for ages because he went down, didn't he? And I don't know if he was rushed back, but it shows you the lack of confidence and other options. We had to get him back in the team. We don't want that. No. We want, if there's an injured player or someone suspended or is international duty, whatever the reason, we have got someone equally as good to get into that position.
Chomping at the bit.
Yeah, exactly.
What wants to show Chris Davies what they can do and keep that person out the team in a healthy way.
Yeah, and that provides that fantastic competition and makes all players better. So just to summarise his strengths, and then we'll have a look at a few weaknesses as well. Again, I'm just going to bullet point them here very quickly. Blistering pace, exceptional dribbling. We saw that in terms of his goal. Athleticism as well. So he's very athletic, very energetic, versatile. So he has got the ability to play on both wings, but I don't see that. I see him primarily as a right back, right wing back.
Yes,
for us is what he'll play.
Exactly how Laird played last year.
Yes, yeah. He's almost like a mirror image of the style of play that Ethan Laird has played for us last season, and his work rate as well. A few weaknesses, because all players have them as well. End product consistency, and I think that just is another byproduct of being a attacking wing back, is that you're not always going to get every cross perfect or make the right decision, and sometimes defensive in certain areas. He's maybe like a lot. We mentioned that in other. When we brought in other new players about this, where they more of attacking, so that they need to work more on the defensive side, but that'll be coached into them anyway.
Yeah, agreed. And I think if we're going to talk about his biggest positive attributes, it's pace and intensity. He doesn't stop running. He's quick. He's physical. I think he's got good positional awareness, Dad. So he's good at going forward, but he can do the dirty work when needed at the defensive side of the game as well. Again, really good positive attributes to have. And he's good under pressure as well. So Chris Davies, I think in modern football, Dad, you have to have confidence. You have to be cool under pressure. We know it now down at St.Andrews. I'm sure all Blues fans were still adapting to this playing out from the back style of football. It's not going anywhere. We need to get used to it. But it's nerve-wracking, and you need players who are confident and comfortable on the ball in those scenarios. I think from what I've seen, he's quite calm and collected on the ball, and we need those kind of players to play Chris Davies' style of football, play the modern game of football, play championship football, because the standard's going to be higher, faster, intense. He's going to get closed down quicker. He's going to have to be quicker to beat the left backs in this league and all these sorts of things. So I think he's got a really good balance. My only caveat to all these things, and you've mentioned a few little improvements there as well, Dad, is just we might get caught out from time to time when he's really high. But we have to take that risk if we're going to go at teams, don't we? It's risk versus reward.
Yes.
And we've shown this year that when Allsop gets those balls right, and when, let's say Tommy Doyle this year, Dad can pick him out on a long diag, that will pay off in abundance, in my opinion, more than getting caught out from the back.
Well, we mentioned this before, Matt, which is exactly what you've just said, really, in terms of not getting caught out, but the pace. We lacked pace up front last season. We lacked it in terms of when we won the ball back. We were often very slow in transition. Players like him and Damari Gray on the other side are going to be real, change that, because they just allow it to be electric on both flanks. Yeah. That's gonna get us in really good positions and possible, give us more goals as well. He hasn't moved around very much. If you look at his transfer history, I believe it or not, he started off at Blackpool. He started off in the Blackpool under 18s in 2014-2015, right. And then he obviously went up to the senior team in 2017-18, where he joined QPR in that season. And he only went from QPR in 2021 to Fenerbahçe for around about £500,000, and then obviously Fenerbahçe, his contract has now run out. So at the risk of not knowing a huge amount about Turkish football, I believe that that the deal was nearly done for Beşiktaş in terms of have a contract ready for him, and for whatever reason he decided not to take it.
And QPR fans had to speak highly of him. A lot of them have said after the goal he scored against us at St.Andrews, his career kind of went on a bit of on a trajectory up. So that goal almost sparked a bit of life into him, and they think when he comes back again, a lot of the level-headed QPR fans who are just don't recite rubbish for the sake of reciting it, in terms of when you ask for their opinions, they say he's going to be a very good player.
Yeah, I mean, he's played a lot of football as well. I mean, Fenerbahçe, believe it or not, he's played 178 games for them.
Wow.
Scored 7 goals.
How many years has he been there?
He was at Fenerbahçe, so he went to Fenerbahçe in 2021.
Right, so he's been there for 3 or 4 seasons.
Yeah,
now.
hence the amount of games.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a lot of games, isn't it?
I think that won't just be league, that'll be cup and...
Still, though, it shows he's a really sought-after regular starter. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so he's played 178 games, scored 7 goals and 15 assists. Remember, he's a right wing back, but 7 goals and 15 assists isn't actually that bad.
That's not bad.
It's a lot of games, but that's still good contributions. QPR, he played 115 games, scored 13 goals and 12 assists, and Blackpool, 79 games.
How old is he?
5 games and 6 assists. He's 27.
He's played a lot of football, hasn't he?
Yeah, but I think because he was obviously came through the youth team at Blackpool, and then
also, do you know what I like about that, Dad? It shows he's not made of glass as well.
Yeah,
because he's been at Fenerbahçe for that amount of time, and it sounds like he's played the majority of games in all those seasons.
He's got the physique to cope with it, though. Quite. I mean, he's not immune to
it.
No player is. Yeah, that'll help an awful lot of players bouncing off him, wouldn't it? So just to go on by competition, he's played 120 games in the Turkish Super League, scored 6 goals and 9 assists. Now this is important. In the Championship, he's played 109 games, 11 goals and 12 assists. That ain't bad for a right.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
League 2, he's played 31 games, 4 goals, 3 assists, and there's loads of other trophies that he's actually played. Now, I looked at his stats in terms of how many minutes he played last season for Fenerbahçe. So he's in the squad 29 times, starting 11-15. Now, there are a few injuries, minor injuries, nothing like lengthy injuries. He was a substitute in 10, but. When he does play, he's not really played the full 90 minutes. He's been playing for the last 5 games, maybe half a game, stuff like that. The ones before that, he played the full 90 minutes. I think again he's probably realised that he wants to maybe possibly play more football. Now with his heat map, and you'll see that on the screen right now, Matt, I'll put that up for you. It is literally you must need a fire extinguisher to put the right hand side out. It's so red, and shows you he dominates that side. That's where. How
high up is it? Again, I've not seen this. It'll be on the screen now, but I'm intrigued to see how high is that red.
So the red is on the right hand side in his own half, say from the penalty box to the halfway line, and then from the halfway line to the penalty box,
it's all the way down.
All red, all the way. So he seems to be somebody as well that tends to spend an awful lot of time not hugging the touchline but very close to it.
Right.
And he does virtually nothing on the left. So he's not a player that goes over the other side of the pitch. So in a way, I quite like that because he's sticking to his position.
Yeah, of course,
I mean, there might be a need to wander over in certain circumstances, but he's staying in his primary position. So again, shows lots of red means there's a lot of intensity in terms of his presence in that area, and as it'll get oranges and yellows means there's less and less. But it shows you he's very, very dominant on that right hand side, which we would expect.
Well, he's a right back or a right wing back. We want him to be dominant on the right hand side, don't we?
So. Shame I haven't got time to do this as well, but I should have got Ethan Laird's heat map up from last season, and we could have compared that as well. But
if I can find it, I'll put it up now. But it'll be a surprise to everyone because we won't have discussed it. So that'll be interesting, Dad. If I can find it, I'll put it up.
Yeah. So for me, Matt, I think this is another sort of piece in the jigsaw to provide that competition in every position. This is another. Now we've got the right back, right wing back position filled. As I say, we have got other players. We saw Taylor Gardner-Hickman play there. We saw Alphonse Samsted play in that position. So again,
Bielek played there, right back at some games.
Bielek, yes. Bielek played right back as well. So we've got other players that can play in those positions, and I'm wondering what it means for them in terms of, because I see Laird as the first choice right back prior to this chap coming in here. But it means maybe players like that, because I love Taylor Gardner-Hickman. And he's very much a utility player, so he can fill gaps where we need to be. And Alphonse Samsted, he didn't let us down when he came on either. So, but I just wonder whether, again, I'm being controversial here. I'm only thinking out loud. I wonder if there's room for all of them. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that Blues fans will argue we can use this player here and this player there. But I see this new chap, Bright, and Ethan Laird in competition for that right hand slot. So if one's injured, the other will come in. So whereas Taylor Gardner-Hickman or Samsted would have come in, if they can't be that, where else are they going to play?
Well, the good thing about Taylor Gardner-Hickman is he can play all over, whereas Samsted doesn't. He's a right back or a left back again. Does that make him vulnerable? I don't know. But Taylor Gardner-Hickman, for me, can still be a solid centre mid backup. He can be a right wing backup, a right back goalkeeper backup. He plays anywhere, doesn't he, Taylor Gardner-Hickman? So, but you're right. It's a good question. Question. And I think as far as this transfer goes, and the right back position, it's nice to know we have more depth, we have more coverage. It's creating competition for spaces, and I feel like now going into the season, we're covered for that side of the pitch.
Yeah, completely. So again, another position filled there in terms of depth of squad. But as always, we'd love to know your comments, Birmingham City supporters, what you think about this signing. Are you as confident or as excited as we are about the potential for this player in our squad and what he could potentially do for us moving forward? Let us know in the comments below. As always, if you like the podcast, then don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't checked us out on our social media channels already, pop along to our X page and our Instagram page. And of course, if you'd like to watch or listen to your podcast on Spotify, you'll find us on there as well. And you'll see the handles appearing on the screen for all of these channels right now. If you haven't subscribed to the channel and you'd like to, and there really is no obligation to subscribe, but if you'd like to, press that big red subscribe button. And if you want to be notified every time we put a new podcast out, there's a little bell icon next to that. If you press that, you'll get a pop-up on your phone or device the minute we put a podcast out. So that's it for this podcast. Hope you've enjoyed it. Myself and Matt will see you on the next one, all about Birmingham City.